Before we start, just understand this is not a signal service. Everything you see here is for educational purposes only. Trading involves risk, and the goal here is not to follow trades, it's to learn the process behind them.
Good morning, good morning. It is Monday, June 1st. Time is currently 9:16 a.m. It is a bloody good morning. All right, welcome to I'm the Trader Capital, a live trading floor. But first and foremost, all glory to the Most High God. Let's bow our heads for a quick prayer before we get into the market today, okay? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for another opportunity to try again to learn and grow in these markets. Father, we ask that your will be done today as it is in heaven. Father, we ask that you give us the heart of a giver and make us a lover of our neighbors. Please let me not lead anyone that listens to me astray, but use me as a vessel to bring your children back onto you. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Can the church say amen? Amen. Let's begin. Before we jump into the charts, I just want to say this. There was a time I used to sit down on the charts with no real plan, jumping between strategies, losing, blowing accounts, second guessing every entry, and honestly just hoping that the trade would work. And that's where most traders are today, not because they're not capable, but because they don't have a structured process. The biggest pitfalls that causes traders to fail is that they have no knowledge on money, they don't know how to lose, they don't know how the markets operate, and they don't have a winning model. 90% of traders fail, all 90% are plagued with one or more of these pitfalls. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 pillars that every trader must have in their trading to survive and thrive in the financial markets, so you can join the 10% who succeed and fast track your way to the top 1% of the wealthiest people on this planet. It's called the 10% to 1% club. Let's go. Woo! But before we dive deep into the 3 core pillars, when you step into this arena, on this battlefield, you must first have 2 crucial realizations. Realization number 1, trading is war. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is the hardest thing that you'll ever do in your life. Realization number 2, all traders are money managers. As a trader, your ability to manage money is vital to your survival in this industry and in life as we know it. Most traders think that success in the markets comes from finding the perfect strategy or catching the biggest moves. But the reality is, trading success is built on 3 core pillars. First is money and mindset. This is the foundation of success. Then is risk management. This is the holy grail of trading. This is what will keep you in the game long after everybody else has quit. And lastly, we have trading edge. This is where all traders start. I know this because this is where I started. That's why in today's session, we're going to hone in on your trading edge. Now, everything that we do here is built around one thing, and that is confidence in your trading edge. And at I'm the Trader Capital, our confidence comes from 3 things. First, it comes from understanding how the market actually operates. Not what social media says, but how money truly moves. Second is having one trader model. One model with IPDA signatures that we trust and execute on a consistent basis. Third is having a plan and a process, because without a plan and a process, you're just reacting to price and you're winging it each and every time. And this right here, this session, this is where we focus on the 3rd piece, the process. So many people lose confidence in trading and in life because they simply don't have a plan. There's no process they're following. There's no procedures and protocols that they're abiding by. They literally are just winging it. And they wonder why they can't get consistent. They wonder why there's ups and downs in their equity curves. They literally can't figure it out. The uncertainty of not knowing exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, why and when you're doing it in the market will cause you to fail in trading. Confidence and certainty are key if you want to be successful in trading, and it's your responsibility as the trader, as the analyst, as the fund manager. It's your responsibility to attain that confidence, not only in your model, but also in your processes. So what I want to do right now real quickly is I want to share with you the process that we teach all our analysts at I'm the Trader Capital, and then we'll see that process live in action This is the three-step trading process. Step one, condition. This is where we determine our bias. Before we even think about entering a trade, we need to know the market program. Are we in a buy program or sell program? This is where the market shows its hand. Then we have step two, stage. This is what sets up your trade and what does your trade look like. There are two types of trades, retracement setups and continuation setup. Then we have step three, execution. This is how you're going to enter, manage, and close the trade. At I'm the Trader Capital, we have 4 entry criteria before executing. I'm not here to force trades. I'm here to execute my plan step by step in real time. All right, let's get into the live trading flow. Now, as you're watching, don't just look for entries. Pay attention to the process behind the entries, because this is what will get you into the 10% of traders who succeed. And if you want to go further to the 1%, well, that's where we break down all 3 pillars inside of the program. I used to think that winning trades built confidence, but it's not the wins. It's knowing exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it before, during, and after each trade. And that is what we're building here. Let's begin with our daily trading processes. Weekly target going to this week, all right, is 3% as always. Mental check-in, feeling generally okay, all right. Getting back to my normal self, right? So excited to see what price action has in store for us today on this NFP Monday. Woo! I can't believe it. We're already in like six months. Like this is halfway through the year already. Well, we just got to June, but damn, this year is just flown by. But anyway, I'm excited to see what price action has in store for us today. Excited to continue to grow or get 1% better. It's another week where I get to get 1% better. So I'm excited. I'm hyped up. And I can't wait to see what the candlesticks has in store for us this week. All right. And going into today as well. Okay. I accept any risk that comes with trading today. I understand that trading comes with real risk and that losing is part of the battle. News is NFP Monday. So even if there wasn't any news today, it will still be an optimal day to take a trade. But there just so happened to be news today, still making it a double optimal day to take a trade. All right. We have medium impact news coming out at 9:45 and 10. We have high impact news coming out at 10. Okay. So we have news today, making it an optimal day to take a trade. Like I said, it's NFP Monday. Even if we didn't have news, it would still be an optimal day to take a trade. This is the one time of the week where on Monday we don't require there to be news to take a trade, okay? Because of NFP. Because Wild Wild West begins Wednesday PM session, okay? So it gives us about five sessions, yeah, for the before we get into Wild Wild West. But anyway, we progress and we move. Risk going into today, we're at 0.25 of account size, and we have a max of 0.75. Obviously, once we start increasing and reducing risk, this will be very vital step, all right, in terms of our processes. But for now, we're still on that one, we're at our lowest leverage, so there's not much we can do. It's just about reminding myself what risk I am going into today. Obviously, once we start adjusting based on losses, then we'll need to see the outcome of the previous trade to see if that, if it was a win or a loss, depending on what we're going to do in terms of going into our trading session and taking the trade, okay? So it's not just there just to be there. It has a purpose, all right? Everything in this routine has a purpose, and it has to be done in the order in which we're doing it, okay? Because if there's no news, there's no point. We're not trading, so we don't need to determine the risk for the day, okay? Weekly program hasn't been established yet, okay? I'm going to need Monday's range, today's range, to be complete, all right? Then I'll get my weekly program starting Tuesday, depending on which side of Monday's range has been taken. But either way, let's go ahead and adjust our higher time frame ranges and proceed on to today. Different week, same processes, adjusting 20 day. This is the last candle right here. 20 day. Our previous week needs to definitely be adjusted. Friday, Mondays. Well, oh yeah, because there was no Monday, Tuesday to Friday right there. Got previous week, previous day. So if you were using previous day, right, we would have taken previous day's high already. We've also taken previous week's high. We've also taken 20 day high. But anyway, if you're using previous day, all right, you would be in a buy program going into today until, all right, previous daily low is taken, and then obviously that will flip your bias from buys to sell for. So going into this morning, if you're using previous day's range as to determine your condition, all right, you would be in a buy program going into this morning. Seems to be disrespecting this 4-hour inefficiency here. We have previous days low into this inefficiency here as a potential drawn liquidity. So let's see how this week goes. But obviously, based on the 20-day look back, right, we're in a higher time frame, we're in a buy program, so just be aware of that. I had a really good back testing session this weekend. I had a really good back testing session this weekend. A lot of eye-opening stuff, all right, stuff that I already knew, but just kind of confirmed that, hey, this is when I'm anticipating it. Okay, so wait till this. So excited to walk it forward, as always. Excited to walk it forward. PM session, I taped read a beautiful continuation buy setup. It was so nice. Hold on, let's finish today and then we'll go back into PM session if we have time. I was actually really this weekend more focused on a 15-second time frame and a 1 minute, obviously, but really just combining the two time frames. Yeah, because I want to start involving the 15 seconds into my execution now. Okay, so I need to, dig deeper into collecting the data. So I'm building that confidence, building that relationship back up with me in the 15 seconds. Anywho, different day, different week, same processes though. Currently, this is the low from 12 a.m. to current price. All right, if we need to adjust it, we will. For me, I need it to be that when that 9:15 candle completes. This is the high. London session high is the high right now. So we've established our dealing range. All right, now we just wait for one side of that to get taken. That will give us our condition going into today. Above dealing range, we have Asia session buy side, and that's pretty much all-time highs. All right, below dealing range, we have PM session sell side from Friday, which we came into close proximity to, but we haven't taken it yet. Let's see the low of this. 33825. Yeah, we haven't taken it. Below, like I said, we have PM session, we have AM session from Friday. And London session as well. So a bunch of lows down here. And then below that we got previous daily low. So these lows are looking very enticing for today. Looking very enticing. Hey. That's not what I want then. We are about to pop off. Ding, 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 ding. 9:30, opening bell. Not the biggest gap there, but it's also is a decent size, all right? It's not as small as last Thursday, okay? So we'll see what price action has in store for us today, okay? Open range gap is above price, so we gap down, so we have a discount gap down. Hallelujah. Don't take bad man. Hallelujah. I did take a loss on this yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, Friday, didn't I? Yeah. That last trade was a L. Oh yeah, that's a good reminder actually. Friday's trade that we were in that was taking mad long that we didn't even get to like sit and wait for it to do its thing. It took me out. I wanted to get back into Friday so we can talk a little bit about Friday. Anyways, Money and Mindset Monday is Money and Mindset Monday. It's also NFP Monday, not for professionals. It's also NFP Monday. Yeah, a lot to uncover here. Bloody hell. Yeah, but anyway, that trade ended up being an L. Okay, but it gave me another opportunity while we were still in the trade, which I did take on a different account. Obviously, it gave me another buy, which gave us it allowed us what 4 contracts, gave us 3, and then came to take us out at the remainder of it. But the one that we were in from Friday, yeah, we took a loss on that one. Took a while, all right, but it came to take us out. Nothing wrong with that, though. Nothing wrong with that. Losses are the only thing promised to us. I accept it. All right, it's my job here to manage the risk, manage the losses. Okay, because that's the only thing that is guaranteed. Going into this week, right? I'm more like trying to collect more data on the 15 seconds. Like I said, this weekend I back tested it. I went over the week using the 1 minute and the 15 seconds. I was just trying to get the relationship between the two time frames and how they can support each other, right? So I saw that obviously 15 seconds does start the move, all right, but sometimes it gives you false move. But the best thing forward for me is using the M1 liquidity wave with the 15-second market structure shift, all right, and then entering off base of that. So I'm gonna walk that forward, all right, and see how it goes. And if it needs to be adjusted based on the data collected, then we'll adjust it. But for now, I'll be walking that forward. Also, another thing that changed over the weekend was Happy June! New month, new money. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! New month, new money. A new month to get 1% better. Hell yeah, baby. No. What are you doing? What have we done to the world? Look at what we've done to the world. Can you believe it though? Like we're like 6 months into the year already. That's crazy, my guy. That is crazy, bruv. This year done already, man. It's just flying by, bro. It's just flying, flying, flying. Yeah. Something that I am adjusting going moving forward is how much I'm taking off at take profit one, okay, which is always my -1. All right, so if based on my risk and my entry and stop, if it allows me more than 2 contracts, obviously 1 contract we're getting out of the trade at -1 anyway. 2 contracts, we'll take the 2 contracts off at -1 regardless. Always 2 comes off at -1. Okay, for now, all right. While I'm still building this, because anyway, it just what's best for my managing my emotions and managing my trade right now with my current experience and my current understanding of price action. Okay, from the data that I've collected, all right, from what I've been noticing, right, in terms of managing me, all right, because that's what it's mostly about. Once I'm in a trade, it's more about managing my feelings and my emotions while I'm in a trade. So I think taking 2 off at -1 and then leaving the remainder if it does give me more than more than two, right? So two will always come off at -1, and then I will just partial the remainder as it gives it to me, right? So if it's like 5 contracts, let's say, I'll take two off at one off at -1, and the two off at -2. So every whole number of the fib extension will have two off there if it offers the opportunity. Just so I'm taking my partials as the market gives it to me, and I'm not trying to ask too much of it. Okay, so I'm gonna walk that forward. I think I like that idea much better than what I had going on. Okay, instead of going into a trade with 3 contracts, taking one off at -1, and then having the two remaining come and take me out. You get what I'm saying? I get what I'm saying, but we'll see how that goes anyway. But I think I like that much better in terms of managing the trader. All right, managing the trader. I've tried what I've been doing. Okay, now it's time to collect data on something else and see how I feel. New month, new money, baby. Let's go. It's Money and Mindset Monday. Money and Mindset Monday. We end the week with your mind on your money, and we start the week with your mind on your money, okay? So you know the purpose, why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing, why you're grinding, okay? It's not just to make the money, but what do you do with the money once you make the money, right? What do we do with it? What is the purpose? What is the goal of money once we have it, once we're making it, okay? And the goal is to get that money, making more money for us, right? It's not to earn money and then go spend it on bullshit that, accumulates more expenses and, more things for you to pay for. It's to earn that money, increase it, keep as much of it as possible by reducing your expenses and reducing your taxes. Okay, well, I think today we'll talk more about how we reduce the taxes in doing what we're doing here. Okay, we'll talk about um, how to establish an entity and how to minimize taxes, keep more of your money once you become profitable, obviously, once you master the skill here, how you keep more of your money. And then the last step, right? Fourth step. Last step is to invest that money. All right, you get that money, making more money for you, working as hard as you did to make that money, right? And you build passive income, which buys you freedom, right? Which buys you back time, so you can spend time doing the things that you like, that makes you happy, right? Money itself doesn't buy you happiness, which is a misconception about money, all right? But it does provide you with the experiences and does provide you with the resources, okay, to buy you and allow you to do the things that do make you happy, okay? It's a tool at the end of the day. It's a tool, and it must be used like all tools. It must be used for its purpose, right? You can't use um you can't use a wrench to do the job of a hammer, okay? You can't use a wrench to do the job of a hammer, okay? So just like you can't use money to do the job of what something else may, you can think of another analogy. Fuck it, I can't think of anything else. Still waiting for our condition to be established, but however, right, if you're going based on previous days range to establish your condition, your step one, okay, you already be in a buy program, so you'd be looking to be a buyer of this market, all right? In terms of, obviously it'll be a continuation trade you'll be looking for, but in terms of your entry, all right, that's a personal preference, how you enter the market. Da 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 da. Money and Mindset Monday. Money and Mindset Monday. Like I said, today we're talking about establishing an entity for your trading business. All right. Before I get into all that, right? Before I get into all that, I just want to preface by saying that I'm not a professional. I'm not a tax person. Everything that I'm going to share here is for educational and informational purposes only. All right. I'm providing you the information so you can go out and ask the professionals that do taxes, that set up corporations and do all of this. Okay. This is just based on my research and based on what I'm going to do moving forward. Right. Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. I always tell you, just because somebody's telling you something, it doesn't make it law. Always do your own research. Trust but verify, okay? Even if you trust me, still verify the information I'm giving to you. Because I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. I could 100% be wrong. We're still waiting on step one. We're still waiting on step one. Doesn't mean that somebody else hasn't already got their step one already. All right, that's the difference here. It's a solo sport. You have to find what works for you. It's fine to do the sport with other people, but at the end of the day, it's just you. Okay, in front of these charts, it's just you and your decision making. All right. We just here doing it together, right? As a community. That's it. At the end of the day, the decisions that you make are yours, right? You reap the rewards and you sow what you reap. If you take a loss too, that's on you, right? It's on you. All right, so we're gonna get into the greatest wealth building tool today. I think we touched over the first three topics enough in terms of the past couple of times we've been doing money and mindset. But today we're gonna go into the greatest wealth building tool. What I believe is the greatest wealth building tool. Okay. Da da da. Pa, 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 pa. Oh. We'll refresh on the steps to create wealth. Refresh on the steps to create wealth. We just talked about it actually. I just literally went over it. All right. These are the 4 steps to create wealth. Okay. So step 1, create income, right? Without income, you have no foundation, nothing to build upon. All right. That's always the first step. Everybody starts on their path to wealth on the same road. Okay. We're all on the same road. Where it diverts is how the rest of the steps, right? The rest of the steps. That's how we divert. Okay. Everybody invests. All right, but we all invest in different things, all right? And that's where the path to wealth diverts for many people, and for the 1% is one directional, right? So create income. Then your next step is to increase that income, all right? So you have more money left over, more net income, all right? Once you take your growth, remember, gross income is everything that you earn, all right, without any taxes or expenses being taken out. Okay, so once you deduct your taxes and expenses, you're left with your net income. All right, that's what you have left over for investment. Okay, yes, that's all we all have left for investments, and we all invest. We just invest in different things. So next thing you want to do is increase that income. All right, and that could be in many forms. In terms of, you want to take a side hustle, do freelance work, or if you're in your current 9 to 5, look for ways, right? Look for ways that you can increase income. All right, if you already haven't hit the top already, right? What else? What other service can you provide that company, right? That will lead to like you getting more money from them, right? If you can always increase your income within your current role, that will always be the first step. But if you've maximized that, all right, then you look outside into like side hustles and other skill sets that you have that you can provide to other people. Okay, but always start with where you're at. All right, if you can increase your income from where you're at, that's always the recommendation. Okay, the next step is then you want to keep more of your income, meaning you want to trim the fat of your expenses, stuff that you're currently paying for that you don't need to pay for. You can take them out. All right, you can trim only the meat. All right, only what you need, only what's necessary. All right, and then minimize your taxes, which we're going to get into today. Okay, minimize your taxes. There's many ways you can do that. All right, look for ways to play the tax game. Okay, that's what the 1% are doing. They're playing the tax game. Like, I don't get it when people say, oh, that rich people aren't paying taxes, and they're angry with the company or the particular person for not paying taxes. Bruv, they're doing something that is available to every freaking human being on this planet. Just because you're not playing the game how it should be played, right? It doesn't mean that they're wrong for doing what they're doing. Shit, what are they doing? And I want to do the same shit that they're doing, right? Don't complain. If you can't beat them, join them, right? Find out what they're doing and then do it yourself. Hello? Simple, man. People just want to be stuck in their problems, and they want to moan, and they're just happy being stuck in their problem, and just complaining about it. Because once they fix it, they have nothing else to complain about. But anywho, it is what it is. It is what it is. And then lastly, obviously, you want to invest, right? You want to keep more money so you can invest the money. And the order in which you should be investing is, first you invest in yourself. All right, you enhance your skills, gain more knowledge, all right, for the next phase of your development, right? So you can obviously keep increasing your income. Then once you've done that, once you've learned everything that you need to learn in your field, right? And your income is increasing, then you want to invest all that money back into your business, okay? That business can be you, that business can be another business that you're doing, okay? Just depend on the skill that you enhance, all right? You can build a business behind that skill, invest in that business, right? And when that business is making money, making surplus money, then you invest in income producing assets that buys you passive income and buys you ultimately freedom, okay? Those income producing assets for me, all right, personally, is two things: is in real estate and is a limited partnership, all right? Limited partnership is in terms of a hedge fund, what we're building here, okay? If you invest with us, all right, you become a limited partner in the fund, okay? That means we're doing all the trading, but obviously we're distributing returns to you every month, and you're a limited partner. Your partnership is limited. Basically, it's in the name, right? You become a limited partner. All right, you're getting the distributions without having to put in the work. This is where passive income comes in, which is taxed at 0 to 20%, okay? And unlike ordinary income, which is taxed at 40 to 50%, right? This is comes into keeping more of your money, all right, and getting that money to work for you, okay? So that's the whole goal here, all right? If you don't want to learn this skill, right, you can invest in somebody with somebody that has proven to you to know the skill, to know what they're doing, all right, and they've proven to you that they can manage their emotions, they can manage money, all right, and not go on a tailspin. Their equity curve is not jumping up and then jumping down, it's steady, okay? They're not like doing too much, right? It's about risk. So yeah, if you don't want to learn the skill, obviously there's different avenues that you can take, right, to be part of this skill, right? Because like I said, this is the greatest wealth building tool of all time, all right? And I'm the Trader Capital. We want to offer you both ways. Like, remember the two vehicles. Let's go back for a second. Two vehicles to build wealth, right? Two vehicles to build wealth is earned income and passive income, and it's our goal at I'm the Trader Capital to provide both for you, okay? We want to give you the opportunity to do both here, right? One stop shop, all right? Earned income in terms of learning how to trade, becoming a trader with an analyst with us, all right? You'll be working with us with our capital trading, all right, earning income, all right. If you also want passive income, you invest in the hedge fund, all right, and we distribute you money every month, and you're getting passive income, okay. That's my goal here, to be a one-stop shop for people, okay. So working on it, slowly and surely, slowly but surely, all right. Anything good or worthwhile takes a while, okay. And I'm taking it day by day. I ain't trying to rush it, because I've done that before, right? I even tried to rush this skill, learning this skill, and it just didn't go well, right? It just didn't go well. And that all happens when you come into trading with a desperation mindset, when you're like, oh, you're needy. Nobody likes a needy person. Ipta definitely don't like needy people. She cannibalizes needy people. If you're needy, woo! She don't fuck with that. She don't fuck with needy. Alright? You gotta play hard to get here. Alright? You gotta be smooth. You gotta show her that you ain't even bothered. Like, that's what you wanna do. It don't matter. I'm still gonna do the same thing. Right? You wanna fuck me around? It don't matter to me. I'm showing up and I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I don't care what you got going on, okay? You gonna dance to the beat of my fucking drums. Alright? If the likes somebody to take control, somebody that has control and can take control of themselves, right? That's who she gives her time to. Nothing for me to do here right now, all right? Nothing for me to do here right now. Still waiting on step one. Still waiting on step one. But we talking money and mindset today. We're talking about the greatest wealth building tool, what I believe is the greatest wealth building tool, right? And that's trading, right? Right here, what we're doing. 950 macro, kicking off, okay? We have time, but we're nowhere near a price I would be interested in engaging in, okay? So still nothing for me to do. Hallelujah. Got too much money, but I'm still a shooter. Don't take Batman for Bala Boopa. Nante. Uh-uh. Mm-hmm. All right. So the greatest wealth building tool, all right? These are the topics we're gonna talk about under this broader topic in itself, under money and mindset, right? Is different sub topics and different sub topics. All right. So we're gonna talk about establishing your trading business entity. Okay. Once you master this skill, all right. Obviously, there's different avenues to scale this skill, all right, and scale your business as a trader, all right. So that's what we're gonna be digging more into today, all right. Paying yourself earned income, all right. Step one, create income, all right. The first vehicle to building wealth, all right, earned income, all right. Then we go into maximizing deduction to keep more of your money. We're going through the steps, all right, to create wealth. And I believe trading is the greatest wealth building tool because it allows you, all right, to do each step just flawlessly, okay? Investing through the entity, all right, tax advantage, retirement planning, all right, and limit the limitless potential of trading, okay? So once again, before I dive deep into these concepts, all right, I just want to say that I'm not a tax professional, all right. Please, everything that I'm saying here is for educational purposes only, all right. Your job, once you get the information, is to do your own research, all right, and talk to the professionals that do taxes and do set up corporations, because that's what I'll be doing, right? I have the information now, all right. I can't obviously do it. I can do it myself, but I'm not. I don't want to learn another skill. To be honest, I'm admitting it right now. I don't want to go do another thing. So I'm just learning the information that I can go to the professionals and be like, hey, this is what I want. All right, can you provide this for me or not? Simple as that, right? Simple as that. This is what I'm looking for. I want a double cheeseburger with fries, all right, and a side of Coke. I don't even fucking drink Coke. I don't even drink Coke, but it's just I'm just using it as an example. When you go to these professionals, you know exactly what the hell you want. You tell them what you want, and whether they can provide that service for you or not, then you can just move on. Right? It's about maximizing your time, right, and not being fooled, all right? Because not every professional is a professional, all right? Not every professional is a professional that they know their stuff in and out. Okay, so you have to know, all right, so you can check them. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, this is not, bury me, right? Because this is not even complete. This is not even like, bruv, I didn't finish this part, did I? Well, we're doing it right here, right now. We're doing it right here, right now. We're doing it right here, right now, live. Live up in here. I don't know if you guys can see, but at least you have something to look at on the thing here. Hallelujah. Got your money, but I'm still a shooter. That was so off tune, bruv. One thing I was not endowed with is, music abilities and musical talents. I'm sure if I work on it, right? If I practice and I train, I'll be somewhat be able to play an instrument, but in terms of natural talent, may not have that. Me not have it. You know, some people are born with natural talent, right? And then obviously you work on that talent, right? You work on it, you put your hours in, and you master the talent or the skill. I wasn't born with that natural talent to be a musician. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Anywho, we're still waiting on for step one for us here, okay? But like I said, if you're going based on previous days range as your condition, you already be in a buy program, okay? So for me, right here, for us here, I'm the Trader Capital. For me personally, okay, because even if you're I'm the Trader Capital, it doesn't mean you have to use the daily range, okay? The three-step process will be a constant, but obviously it's is up to the trader, right, to pick how they want to determine their condition, right? I'm not going to force anything onto anybody, all right? So I'll give you the framework, all right, but you find what works best for you, okay? And that's pretty much how I want to do things. The three-step process is is a constant, but how you use it, all right, and how you engage in that three-step process is going to be a personal preference. Let's say you're like a short-term trader where you obviously like to hold trades over. Actually, majority of the trades should be off though before the end of the day. Actually, not too much money, but I'm still a shooter. Don't take Batman fit for the poop. As I'm talking out loud and talking things through, obviously I'm working out the kinks and quirks of how this fund is gonna run, right? I just realized that if you're gonna have short term traders, all right, they're gonna obviously need to hold for they'll hold for like maybe a day or two, 3 days, and for us, we don't like to hold overnight, all right. We want to avoid gap risk. So now, that is a hurdle that I have to think about what's gonna happen in terms of that. Hmm. Having the majority of the trade off, closing and then reopening. I don't like that idea. I also don't like the idea of gap risk even more than anything else. So, all right. Um, Interesting. Yeah. I guess we'll have a different department for those, right? But majority will be out before the day closes. Okay, that we'll pin that for now. All right, we'll pin it, and we'll deal with that issue later on down the line because it's not something I need to have a hard line answer on right now. But anyway, trading trading business entity. All right, we're doing a lot of things here. All right, we're doing a lot of things here. We're building a fund. All right, when certain topics come up, all right, I need to address certain things that's gonna happen and how we're gonna handle things here at the Trader Capital. So, yeah, you're behind the scenes, baby. You're behind the scenes. This is live. I'm building it live in the flesh. Okay, live in the flesh. Right, documented. Right, so I can watch this back and be like, whoa, this is where I started. This is what I was talking about. This is what's changed. This is how I used to think. This is how I think now. This is how I used to do things. Now it's I still do these things, but it's kind of adjusted. Just the journey, all right? I'm enjoying the journey. I'm trusting the process and just letting it do its thing. 10 o'clock's about to be upon us, all right? We have about to have open range. Hallelujah. Got too much money, but I'm still a shooter. Don't take Batman to fellow. No, no. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of relative equal lows down here, all right? It's looking very tempestuous. Came up into equilibrium. smash that. Bing bang biggity bosh here. Well, obviously that's not my setup right now. I do see this right here too. Macro. Interesting. Interesting. Let me adjust this because we want it a little bit lower. So we're about to take everything all at once. We're going to take open range session sell side. We're going to take dealing range sell side. Establish condition as a sell program for the day, for the session. All right, then we can proceed to step 2, condition. Step 2, step 2, stage. What the hell am I talking about? Excuse me. All right, trading business entity, okay? So once you master the skill set, this is the most important thing, the most important step and the first step, all right? To scale, you have to master the skill set here. You have to prove to yourself that you can show up consistently and be disciplined enough to keep doing the same thing over and over and over, right? Even in losses, even in wins, you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and you're actually seeing a profit, all right? You're at the end of the week, all right, end of the month, all right, you're seeing profits, okay? Doesn't have to be every week, every month you're seeing profits, but majority of the time, all right, you're ahead. Hallelujah. Got too much money, but I'm still a shooter. Don't take bad man, people. All right, so once you master the skill, right, and you prove to yourself, you back tested, all right, you forward tested, all right, you demo traded. Oh, it took it, yeah. So we took open range, AM session open range, sell side, okay, confirming our session bias as a sell program, okay, condition step 1, right? We've established it using our open range, dealing range. It's confirmed as sell program. So now we can proceed on to step 2 stage, right? We're either going to get a retracement set up or we're going to get a continuation set up. It just depends on what the price actions is saying to us around the key level. I see you right here. Boom, boom. I'm watching that. If we take that, I'd be interested there. If we're proven wrong, all right, we'll get the continuation. Oh, hold on a minute. She wasn't ready. two contracts, right? So they're both going to be coming off a -1. If we're taking out, all right, it will confirm a continuation setup. 8, 9 right there. This is a retracement, okay? Sure. Here, if it takes me out, okay, it's giving me more information, more insight. Just paying for premium information here. Got too much money, but I'm still a shooter. This will be I call a V-shape setup. If it fails, right, it's giving me more information. All right, losses are the only thing promised to us here. All right, we analyze the loss, see what information is given us. So far, I like that we're respecting this inefficiency here, okay? First trade of the week, first trade of the month is NFP Monday, is Money and Mindset Monday. Right, anyway, back into this, because there's nothing much we can do here in this setup, right? We just have to watch it and let it do its thing. It's a retracement setup. Okay, we establish our condition as a sell program. And now we're currently buying, so obviously it's a retracement setup. So I'm aware that I'm going against my session bias condition, okay? But we do have this inefficiency in here, in line with -1. So once you master the skill, right, you prove to yourself, right, that you can consistently make money in this market, right? You can consistently show discipline enough to follow your processes regardless of whether you're winning or losing, right? Then the next step is you want to create an entity, right? You want to create an entity. You want to formalize your business by creating a legal entity, right? A business entity, right? What I recommend and what I'm going to be doing is the S Corp, all right? I'm going to take the S Corp structure for my entity, okay? This benefits of this, right? It allows the income to pass through your personal tax return, right? Avoiding double taxation that come with the C Corp, okay? So the money that you make, the income passes through you, all right? And then you're not having to pay double taxation on that income, okay? Your liability protection, okay? Your liability is limited because you're under a business entity, okay? It's separating your personal assets from business liabilities. So if somebody was to come after you, all right, personally, it will just be you personally, and they won't be able to go after your business, right? If they go after your business, they're going after your business and not you personally, right? They'll have to fight with that business entity and not you personally, okay? So that's what the S Corp does. All right, you pay yourself a salary and take distributions, all right, which optimizes tax savings. We'll dig more into depth about this when we go deeper into this topic, okay? But yeah, you pay yourself a salary and take distributions, all right, which also limits taxes, all right? Step 3, keep more of your income, all right? That means reducing your taxes and reducing your expenses. Then obviously once you master the skill, you create an entity. What I recommend is an S Corp, all right? But do your own research, all right? You employ yourself, all right, as a trader within that business, all right? And then you get a whole heap of tax savings, all right, that we're gonna talk about in a bit here. Okay, it seems like it didn't want to give it to me. That's okay. We'll let it do its thing. We'll let the trade do its thing. Not much I can do about it right now. Hallelujah. Got too much money, but I'm still a shooter. On the supporting time frame, I saw this. Hold on, let's do this first. On the 15 seconds, and this is what my backtesting session did bring, right? We got a retracement setup, clean as day, right? Took liquidity below it, displacement, market structure shift back above that external liquidity right here on the supporting time frame. But my only thing with these, with the 15-second initial entries, is that obviously sometimes they can be false, right? So I would have loved to see an M1, right, raid, market structure raid, all right, below the external liquidity, and then a 15 seconds market structure shift above. That would have been valid, okay? But I'm still watching these though. I'm still watching these. Would have given you negative 3.5. Let's see how many contracts it would have allowed us in here. 6 contracts, all right? So 2 would have came off here, then 1, then 2, we're at 5, and then 2.5 right here, you'd be done. Cool. Quickly. I'm watching, I'm collecting the data, and we had time, we had price, okay? So, cool. Just to say that I see you, all right? I see you. Would have even been in here, up here actually, because this candle takes this high and that high. Don't take bad man for the poopa. For now, so far so good. All right, we're respecting this order block here. Okay, respected this inefficiency. Now we're respecting this order block. So nothing for me to do here. So far the candlesticks are letting me know that I'm offside. Okay, they're not showing me anything other than that. So paying yourself earned income under your business entity, as once you employ yourself as a trader in your own business, right? Here's how you pay yourself earned income, right? You pay yourself through the business, all right? Your S corp will pay you a salary as an earned income, all right? As earned income, which means it's taxed at 40 to 50%, depending on what state you're in, or depending on what country, or however your country works, right? Right. The benefits of this, right, is that this earned income allows you to establish a stable financial base, right? Step 1, right, is create income, right? You're on step 1, you're on your way to building wealth, you're on the road to creating wealth, right? You're on step 1, you're establishing an earned income, right? You cannot build wealth without earned income, all right? That is one of the 2 vehicles to build wealth. First one is earned income, next one is passive income, right? We're on step 1, right? First vehicle, all right? Earned income. Right. A portion of your income can be taken as distribution, which may be taxed at a lower rate than regular income, okay? Because you've made the decision, all right, to establish an entity and hire yourself, all right? Portion of your income that you pay yourself through that business entity, right, can be taken as just distribution, right, which is taxed at a lower rate, all right? It's like 0 to 20 is like technically distribution is like passive income, right? It's not technically passive income, but it's like distribution. Okay, and as an employee of your own business, right, you're eligible for various tax deductions and benefits. All right, as an employee under the business, the majority of things that you do can be a tax write-off. And we're gonna get more into that in a minute. Okay, and that is helping you with step 3, right? Keeping more of your income, all right? Because once you create income and you increase that income, the next step is to keep more of that income, so you have more net income, all right, left over for investments, okay? And this is the beauty of this, of trading and setting a business entity in within your trading and hiring yourself as a trader within that business entity. Okay, that's the beauty here, right? Greatest wealth building tool of all time, and I'm proving to you why I believe it is the greatest wealth building tool of all time. Okay, so maximizing deductions, right? Keeping more of your money, all right? This is how you keep more of your money. Step 3, keeping more of your money. Body closure, all right, body closure below this or the block, all right, mean threshold, all right, will start to reduce the probability of this trade being on side for me, okay? But for now, all right, nothing for me to do. All right, thank you very much. Just like that, just like that. Appreciate you, appreciate you. That was a retracement setup. See the outcome of that trade. 193. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Let's switch accounts and we'll wait for the next macro time, for the next opportunity that the market gives us, okay? But for now, we'll continue to see what else this trade will offer us, okay? Let's see if it gives us -2 at all, okay? But quickly in and out, I saw it from the 15 seconds, okay? It confirmed on the 15 seconds and then confirmed on the, yeah, maybe that's how it, in this instance, right, this is how I could have used this as the supporting, right, actress to the main character here. Okay, we got our supporting actress gave us a quick head start that, hey, this is potentially where I want to go, and then it confirmed on our main actor, all right, giving us more confluence in this trade, or more confidence, right? Confluence equals confidence, right? In this trade to be like, okay, yes, potentially we're on side. So let's see what else this trade offers us. All right, we can close this for now. Put a first W. For the month. First trade of the month, first trade of the week, first W, baby. Hey, let's go. All right, let me go back here and grab a snapshot real quick. I haven't been doing that. I need to keep up with that. I haven't been doing it. Hallelujah. That's it. That's all I use this platform for. That is it. That's what we use it for. That's all it's good for. All right, we'd be getting negative 1.5 here. Switch this thing back. All right, so maximizing deductions, keeping more of your money. Step three in the 4 steps to create wealth, right? One of the key benefits of operating as an S corp is the ability to write off legitimate business expenses. Okay, so it allows you to write off your expenses. All right. So here are a list of deductible expenses that you can write off. All right, in when it comes to tax time. All right. So under the business, right? So trading related expenses such as software, subscription, internet, and office supplies. Okay, so it's like trading view, anything that relates to whatever you're using to trade or do your business in terms of trading. All right, your internet bill. All right, your office supplies, your setup, your whole setup. That's a tax write off. Everything regarding your setup in terms of computers, monitors, screens, keyboards, whatever, phone, chargers, whatever, glasses, whatever, all right, relating to the trading business, all right, is an expense that you can write off at the end of the year for your taxes. Okay. Home office expenses. Okay, so if you do trade from home, which I currently do, all right, there's a portion of my rent, all right, that I can write off as an expense, all right, for my home office, right? I can write that off as an expense. Okay. All right, education and training. If you're paying for education and training, all right, maybe if I offer something down the road in terms of education and training, okay, which I am going to offer a training services, okay, whether it's going to be charged or not, that's a completely different. I haven't made up my mind yet. All right, so even if you pay for something with me, all right, that's a tax write-off. You can write off at the end of the year, right? Education and training. Okay, tax preparation costs. Okay, so paying for somebody to actually do your taxes. Okay, that's also a tax write-off. All right, isn't that wild? I'm paying you to do my taxes. By the end of the day, I can still write that payment off as just wild. Anyway, entertainment. All right, where 99% of individuals spend their money, right? Invest their money in entertainment. Entertainment, if it's business related, right? Let's say I go to a bowling alley. Okay, it's an example that Michael used. Is the one that came up my head. You go to a bowling alley with a potential prospect, right? That I want to do business with, right? We talk business during a bowling alley, and obviously whoever else is there for that business, for that bowling, right? It doesn't matter who's there and how long we're there for, right? As long as I discuss business, I'm there for the purpose of business, right? That event, that whole thing is a write off, okay? It's a business write off, okay? You can write off your healthcare, all right? Majority of the time, most people don't want to go into business for themselves because of they don't want to lose their healthcare advantages that they have currently at their 9 to 5. But if you have a business, okay, you can give yourself a good plan, and it's a write-off. All right, it's a write-off for your employer to give you the health care that they currently provide you, right? They're writing that bitch off. All right, so you can write off your healthcare. Restaurant meals, okay, I believe it's now 50%. It used to be 100%, now it's 50%. All right, restaurant meals. So if you go out to eat, all right, and you talk is a business related, obviously, restaurant trip, all right, then you get to write that meal, half of that meal off. I believe it's half, all right, but do your research, like I said, and you get to write that meal off, okay? Clothing, let's say you have a presence on social media, all right, you're able to write off your clothing and your vehicle costs, all right? So wherever you wear, all right, wherever you show that you're wearing in terms of your business, right, you have your logo on it, you get to write all of that stuff off, okay? Vehicle cost, you get to write that off, all right? It's just so many deductible expenses, right? Literally all your expenses, because you made a decision, right, to go with a business entity and hire yourself as a trader within that business entity, right? Majority of your expenses become a tax write-off, right? Meaning you're reducing your expenses, right? You're keeping more of your money, right? Meaning you have more money left over, right, for investments, okay? So this is how we're going to be doing this, okay? Everything that we just listed here is a tax savings, is a tax write-off, okay? Yes, you have to pay them initially, but at the end of the year, you get to write them off against your income, okay? So you keep more of your money, all right? The impact of this is that you keep more of your money, all right? Surplus to reinvest into your business or personal wealth building strategies, okay? So you have more net income left over once you have, money deducted from your expenses, okay? So yeah, this, hold on. Can't see the bottom piece yet. Me not like that. Yes, this is how you do step 3, all right? And keep more of your money, all right? So you have more money left over for investments. So investing through the entity, all right? Tax advantage retirement planning, okay? This is game changing, right? This is where the real wealth begins, all right? Yeah, this ain't finished. This ain't finished, but we gonna make it do what it do. All right, okay. That was it originally, right? This is me adjusting it to my new theme and just editing some of the information. Okay, so I'm still working on my material. All right, I'm still working on my material, but the core essence of it is here. Right, I have the core information that I want to provide. It's just about taking stuff out and putting stuff in. This ain't even. This is the same from the previous. Because this ain't done. Actually, we can do this. We can go on this one in the old version. Old version, yeah. We'll just use the old version moving forward. This is how it was before, right? This is the initial content phase 2 money and mindset. Anyway, investing through the entity tax advantage retirement planning. Okay. So invest in a retirement account, right? So once as a business owner, you can contribute a significant portion of your income to a tax advantage retirement account. This is where, you know, like I said, you start to really start your path to build wealth, right? You start to use the tools available to everybody here, right? That is there to start really to, build wealth for you, for your family, for generations to come, okay? So 25% of your income, right? Through your entity, you can invest up to 25% of your income into a tax free, that's like double the money at that point, right? Tax free, all right, into a retirement account such as a IRA or 401k, all right? A Roth IRA or 401k, right? Contribution to these accounts reduce your taxable income, all right? Providing immediate tax savings, all right? So for example, let's say the salary that you're paying yourself through your trading business entity is 200k, right? We're going to compare this to a doctor, right, that's earning 200k as well, okay? So we're going to have a comparison to see how the benefits between the two, right? Being a business owner, right? And working a 9 to 5. Nothing wrong with working 9 to 5s, all right? Don't get me wrong. We all need to start with a 9 to 5, but the goal is not to stay stay in that 9 to 5, right? It's to go into business for yourself. Yeah, anyway, so you're allowed to invest up to 25% of your income into a tax-free account, right? IRA or 401k. For example, like I said, let's say you're paying your salary that you're paying yourself through your business entity is 200k, all right? From that 200k, you're allowed to take 25% of that 200k, which is 52k, all right? And that will be taken out into a separate account, right? Into a retirement savings account. It's tax-free money, right? This is before Uncle Sam even gets their money, right? That 52k is going to go into another account, all right? Retirement account, okay? and then you'll be taxed. All right, you'll be taxed at 148K. All right, so already you're already beating the tax man 25% already off the bat. You're already beating the tax man because they're not taxing you at the full 200K. They're taxing you after the 52K has been deducted, all right, into a tax-free savings account. Not tax-free savings, but tax-free account. All right, so you're being taxed at 140K, unlike the doctor who's also earning 200K. They're being taxed at 200K, right? This is how the wealthy play the tax game, and this is how they 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 work on paying zero taxes. Okay, is and this is available to everybody. It's available to all of us, right? It's not just limited to a few people, right? We can all play the tax game. You just have to know what you're doing, right? But anyway, um, so we'll put the 25% into a self-directed. It's imperative that it's a self-directed IRA or 401k. Okay, self-directed because obviously we're traders. We know what we're doing with the money. We know how to manage and control our money. So we want to be in charge of that ourselves, right? We want to be in charge of that ourselves. So you get control of your investments, right? This gives you control of your investments. And like I said, when black swan events hit, the people that have no control with their investments, they're the ones that are affected the most, okay? Because they relinquish control to other people, all right? It's best to have control for yourself. So when black swan event hits, you know exactly what you're doing with your investments, okay? With a self-directed retirement account, you can have the freedom to make your own investment decision, okay? And this is where you can leverage your trading skill, all right, to build wealth, all right? Since you know how to trade, all right, you can actively manage your retirement investments, okay? Choosing assets that align with your trading strategy. And this is where compound interest comes into play, right? This is not the account where, oh, you make money and you want to withdraw. This money is staying in that account and you're continuously building that account up with compound interest. Oh my goodness, can you believe starting an account, right? With just 52K, let's just say 52K, right? And you're able to, let's say, make 6% a month, right? On a consistent basis. I'm not saying you're always going to make 6% a month, but on a consistent basis, out of the 12 months, 8%, 8 times out of the 12 months, you're making 6% a month. And you're compounding that over years and years and years and years and years and years and years. Woo! Woo! Can somebody say wealth creation? God damn. What? Just imagine that, right? Just imagine that. That's really where the wealth is created, right? You're playing that tax game. You're playing that. You're in control of your 401k, your investments, your assets. You're not relinquishing it to your job and whoever provided that your job provides, right? You're self-directing it, right? So you can trade it yourself because you already mastered this skill. Remember, everything starts from this point on. You have to have mastered the skill. If you haven't mastered the skill, right, you can't do these things, right? You can't take advantage of things like this that allows you to scale and allows you to build wealth. First step, first step, master the skill, master the skill. Prove to yourself, all right, for a long period of time, right, that you can be disciplined enough to follow your processes, whether you're winning or losing, okay? You can be disciplined enough to follow your processes, and that your processes, your model, your strategy is profitable, right? It's over time proven itself to be profitable. Yes, you're gonna have losing weeks. Yes, you're gonna have losing months. Yes, you're gonna have losing years. But over a long period of time, okay, you're coming out on top. All right. Yeah. So yeah, you can leverage your trading skills, okay, to control your investments, okay. This is how you build long-term wealth, okay. This is how we build long-term wealth by taking control of your retirement investments, right? You can build long-term wealth, generating passive income that will support your financial freedom in the future, okay. So just like analogy I just, or the example I just gave about 52K and making 6% of that month after month after month after month. Okay, not all the months, but 8 out of the 12 months you're making that 6%. Okay, and you're letting that money sitting there. You're not withdrawing it. All right, you're letting that sitting there, and you're compounding that income, and it's a tax-free account, right? Just even by saying tax-free, that means double the money. I hope you know that, right? So 52K tax-free is basically 100K, right? I'm just saying, simple math, simple math. And this is like the beauty, all right, of establishing a business entity and employing yourself as a trader within that business, all right, and getting the advantages that we're talking about here, the deducting your expenses, all right, putting money aside into a retirement account off the bat, all right, so you're taxed at a lower rate than somebody that's working a 9 to 5 already, so already being a tax man, okay. Remember, step 3, keep more of your income. The goal here is to keep more of your income, all right, and in order to do that, you must reduce your expenses and you must reduce your taxes, and that's how, you know, structuring an S corp business entity allows you to do here, okay. This is what I'm going to be doing, okay? Off the bat, I'm letting you know that this is the path that I'm on. This is the journey that I'm on, okay? I'm just sharing that information, all right? So I can get as much people on this path, on this journey with me as possible, okay? You can do it with me, you can do it beside me, or you can just watch me do it, all right? But the decision is yours, right? At the end of the day, like I said, we all invest. It's about what we're investing in, right? Either you're investing your time and energy into your time, energy, and money into something, or you're investing your time and energy and money into nothing, right? We all invest. We all invest at the end of the day. It's just what we're investing in. And this is what I'm choosing to invest in my time, my energy, and my money in, all right? Building me, building my assets, all right? Creating wealth for me and my family for generations. Not just for me and my family, all right? For the people around me, okay? All right? For the people around me, for my community, for my country, and for the world as a whole, okay? Because as always, once you master this skill, it's not about you. It's not about you, okay? Once you master the skill, it's not about you, all right? Only two commandments, all right? Love God, right, with all your heart and soul, every fiber in your being. Glorify Him, worship Him, love on Him, okay? And the second one is love yourself, love your neighbor like you love yourself, all right? Okay, and once you master the skills, it's no longer about you, it's about your neighbor. And it doesn't have to be physically be your neighbor, next door neighbor, all right? It can be, all right, but neighbor is in strangers, right? People that you meet. Yeah. Anyway, the limitless potential of trading. The limitless potential of trading. Why I believe this is the greatest wealth building tool of all time. This is the greatest skill to master, all right, in terms of living on this economical planet that we live on, okay, all right. Everything is powered by money, okay, and this is where the money game is played, all right. So if you want to get money, all right, get money, because we don't make money, we get money. If you want to get money, all right, you get it from the people that have made it, all right, and this is where they're controlling the supply of money, okay. This is where the money game is being played, all right. So mastering the skill, the most important aspect, all right, and I hope I've driven that in it already enough, all right, of this wealth building too, is that once you learn the skill of trading, all right, the potential is limitless. Once you learn the skill, it's important to learn this skill, all right. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. For me, it's taking me over 6 years to get to the point where I feel like I'm on the path to mastery, all right. And you never really master the market, you only master yourself. After 6 years, I'm learning how to master myself, how to control myself, how to control my emotions, how to be disciplined enough to come up with a process, stick to that process, let the data, right, allow me to adjust that process as I collect more data and more things come up. Just adjust it based on the data that you're collecting. The majority of the things that we're doing here is data collecting. Is a data collecting job, all right. We collect data, and then due to that data we refine, all right, and we go back to collecting more data and refine, collect data and refine. At some point you're going to get to the point where there's no more refinements, right. Your wheel is already built, right, but you're just oiling that wheel, okay, to keep it flowing. But anyway, I say all that to say that the most important thing here in everything that I will talk about is the mastering of this skill. Okay, master the skill first, and everything else will follow. Right, life becomes so much easier, so much just relaxing, so calming once you understand this skill and you've mastered it. It's incredible. All right, I'm only talking from experience. All right, I'm not at the point of where I want to be, but I know I'm working towards something. From when I started to where I am today, is it's been a long journey, and I'm seeing improvement, I'm seeing growth, and all I can do is just keep showing up, right? Keep doing what I need to do. Like I say at the end of every session, keep taking small steps in the right direction, all right, and eventually we'll get to our destination. First hour of trading is behind us, right? It's been a minute now. It's been behind us for a little bit, okay, but let's see. We still would be in this trade if we had more contracts, right? It hasn't given us -2 yet. Hasn't given us -2 yet. Okay, so once you master this skill of trading, right, or being able to manage yourself, control yourself, all right, manage your emotions, because that's what it's all about, all right? It's about mastering of thyself, right? That's what these markets will teach you, how to master yourself, right? It will show you your flaws in all the ways that you don't want to see. It's crazy, man. Um, but once you can overcome yourself, right, the path is just, the sky is not even the limit, right? The sky is not, it's just the beginning, okay? But that's the hardest thing as well for people to do, is to master themselves, all right? That's why I want to be that bridge for the people that can't master themselves enough to master the skill, all right? I want to be that bridge where you can use me, right, to build your passive income. Anyway, no ceiling on earning, no ceilings on earning, all right? At 9 to 5, some 9 to 5s are capped, all right? There's only as high as you can go, all right? Unless you're taking over the business, right? There's only as high as you can go, right? There's a ceiling to how high you can go, but for here, right? Once you master the skills, there is no ceiling. There is no ceiling. Unlike traditional jobs, right, with a fixed salary, trading allows you to scale your income based on your skills and the market opportunities, all right? Especially with day trading. Okay, not that every day day trading doesn't mean everyday trading, right? Specifically, if you're going to be a day trader where you can get a setup like at least once a day compounded over a long time. It's really and truly right now the only difference in terms of how much I'm making is my contract size, right? Is the contract size. Once I'm able to obviously compound and increase my account, the contract size will increase, right? And the outcome, the 200, the 190, 190, well, $193 that we just made today, right? This 193, right, in the future can be 1,000, right? $93, right? It could be 100K, 193 freaking $1,000, right? It could be 1 million, right? It could be almost 2 million, right? It's just a matter of scaling, and it's a matter of risk, scaling based on your risk, all right? And based on consistency, based on the performance of your model, on your processes, okay? So I'm not really pressed, all right? I'm starting from humble beginners. I'm at my lowest leverage right now, 0.25, okay? So imagine once I'm able to increase my leverage, right? Obviously, and yeah, it's just the scaling potential is just limitless. You can have multiple accounts. You're not limited to just the one account that you're trading, okay? There's copy trading now where you can have 10 accounts behind the one main account, and that one main account, everything is being copied onto the 10 different accounts, okay? Obviously, you might want to manage them differently, okay? But if you're fine with your current management style, right, and you want to keep that same management style, that's a personal preference, right? But the most important part is to just master the skill first, all right? Once you master the skill, you can take it anywhere, right? You can do it from anywhere. Nobody can take it from you. It's yours to keep, right? Anyway, adaptability. Okay, you can adapt to different market conditions and continue to generate income regardless of the economic cycles, right? Regardless of what's going on outside in the economy, all right? The economy, regardless of what's going on out there, right? Your economy is always going to be taken care of because you mastered the skill, right? You can adapt to different situations. I just listened to a space the other day where a trader roundup where they were talking about traders, we thrive when the world is going to shit, and that is the honest truth, right? Because it doesn't matter the condition of what's going on outside in the outside world, because we understand these candlesticks and why the rhyme readings, why they move, why they do the things that they do, right? It doesn't matter what's going on out there, because these things are always going to be doing what they're doing, right? Regardless of what's going on outside, okay? So traders really thrive, well, profitable traders thrive when the world is like going to shit, you know? And it's sad, but it's the truth. It is what it is, right? But anyway, entrepreneur entrepreneurial freedom, all right? As a trader, you have the freedom to work for yourself, set your own schedule, and make decisions that directly impact your financial success, okay? It's about control, gaining that control over yourself, over your finances. Once again, when black swan events hits, those people with no control, they're the ones that suffer the most, right? The people that relinquish control of their money to other people, they're the ones that suffer the most, right? It's about being able to have control of your finances, right? Knowing that, hey, the decisions that you make affect you and your finances, right? It's not up to somebody else, right? Nobody else is to blame. It's you, right? You're in charge of it. You're in control of it, right? Those who don't have control lose, especially in here as well. If you don't have control of yourself, you will lose. Simple as that. It's about gaining that control, right? And the freedom. Set your own schedule. Like I could have been done, right? I could have took this trade right here, and at what? At 10, we started at what? It kicks off at 9:15. At 10, let's say 10:16, an hour after that, I'm done. At 10:16, I'm done for the day. Nobody's forcing me to be here, to still be in the market, to take another trade. Is I could be done for today and go enjoy the rest of my day, do whatever I need to do, all right, for the rest of the day, and come back tomorrow refreshed, rejuvenized, do the same thing again, and keep it pushing, right? I set my own schedule, right? But for me, okay, this is my 9 to 5, right? This is my 9 to 5. This is my passion. This is my love, and this is something that I want to build, not just for me, but for other people, for the people around me that are interested and want to be on the same journey as I'm on. Okay, I know for majority of people, they're not gonna be interested until I show them, right, the power of this and what this can do, all right, in terms of doing it for myself, right? And then they're gonna see how I'm living and be like, oh damn, okay, now I'm interested. Now I want to do what Alice is doing. But hey, I'll still be there regardless. I'm gonna keep showing up for me and mine, all right? If you keep showing up for you and yours, I'm always gonna be here for you, all right, no matter what the circumstances is. -2, yeah, -2 began smash right there, as you can see, -2. All right, if you had more contracts, right, -2 right there would be given to us. We have open range buy side here as a draw on liquidity. Okay, depending on how price behaves up here, will let me know if it wants to continue higher into back up into 20-day high, previous week's high, and previous day's high. Okay, but these relative equal lows that it's got down here is, oh, how is it doing that? It's just leaving that for a later date, right? It's probably going to take open range buy side here and then drop to take these relative equal lows. But they're they're too clean, too enticing, and it just left it right there. It dipped this year, gave us a V shape retracement setup. Okay, potentially to take buy side here, and then maybe drop. That's just my prediction, but obviously you can still continue higher. But yeah, my eyes just are drawn to these relatively equal lows below price, really and truly, for the day. Okay. Okay, trading is more than just a means to earn money. 1050 macro, we're popping off. We have time. All right, we don't have price yet. Price is up here for us. Okay, closest price is up here, is open range buy side. So until that gets tapped into, okay, traded to and through, there's nothing for us to do here. Trading is more than just a means to earn money, all right? It's a comprehensive wealth building tool when structured as a business. By establishing an S Corp, paying yourself earned income, maximizing deduction, and investing strategically through a self directed retirement account, you can take full control of your financial future. All right? Let that sink in. Reread that. Let that sink in. That's a powerful sentence right there. There's a powerful paragraph right there, okay? The skills you acquire in trading open doors to limitless potential, allowing you to build wealth that offers both active and passive income, ultimately leading to financial freedom. Okay, so just imagine, right? our whole job here, right? Everybody, right, on this planet, on this earth, on this economical planet we live on, right? Your job is to get money, right? Get money and get as much money as you can. Earn income, work, trade your time, all right? Your most valuable asset, earn income, all right? Earn as much money as you can. Take that earned income, transfer it into passive income, get that money working for you, right? Transfer into passive income, right? Which then buys you time, buys you freedom, and this ultimately leads to wealth creation, right? And put in this skill, right? This skill here, you have a pool of money, right? It's an ocean of money, ocean of money. This is where the money game is played, all right? Ocean, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars exchanged in the financial markets, right? You taking like 1%, even 0.01% of that trillions and trillions, nobody's gonna notice that, all right? Nobody's gonna, it won't even make a dent in these markets. It won't make 1% of that. It won't even make a freaking. What's 1% of a trillion? What is 1% of a trillion? Trillion, three, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 12 zeros. Wait, is that a trillion? Am I tripping? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 here. I can't even say this number. I know it's not a trillion. Oh mate. Did I do this right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, that's a trillion. 12 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we have 10. What's that? That's millions. I can't even say this fucking number. I can't even say. Is it millions? I think it's millions. Is it millions? Yeah, I think it's millions. I ain't gonna cap. Was it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. That's gotta be more than a million. That's like, that's 1,000. Oh, it's 10 million. I believe it's 10 million. If I'm correct, I believe it's 10 million. I believe it. I believe. Now I'm gonna do this. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 divided by 1, 2, 3. Oh, what a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just too many zeros, man. It's confusing me. Oh my god, making me feel dumb. All right. Anyway, do your own math and let me know what 1% of a trillion is. Let me know what 1% of a trillion is. Somebody, anybody. But anyway, yeah. Imagine just 1% of a trillion dollars, man. That's just insane, man. The potential here is just, it's crazy. It's limitless. You know what I mean? Feeling burner today, boy. We feeling burner. They call me, they call me burner, boy. I see you, baby. 7, 8, 9. Running him for the gal them. What you know about that tune? That's an old tune. There's a remix with Chris Brown in this one. Ooh. Oh no, I go listen to this separately. I can't use this one. Oh my goodness. Cause me not know the tune. I want to listen to the tune. Born winner. Yes. No fucking way, dog. No way. Hold on, hold on, hold on. uh, Yo. Hallelujah. Don't take mental. Nothing here for us to do. Nothing here for us to do. We're just watching what else this trade will offer us, really and truly. All right, we have time right now, but we don't have price in terms of what I'm looking for in terms of price. Okay, we have this week's open price, but I don't really frame an entry based on that. So nothing for me to do here. Oh, mate. Yeah. So that's it for what was the main topic here? Establishing or the greatest wealth building tool. All right, the greatest wealth building tool. All right, we talked about establishing your trading business entity, paying your self earned income. Okay, maximizing deductions to keep more of your money. Right, investing through the entity. All right, tax advantage, retirement planning. All right, and the limitless potential of trading. Okay, so this is how all you can hit all four steps to create wealth. Right, this is how we can hit all four steps to create wealth. That's crazy. Yeah, this is where shit. This is how we can hit all four steps to create wealth with the greatest wealth building tool of all time, right? Step one is create income. That's after you master the skill, right? And you're able to actually consistently be profitable in the markets. You're earning income. That's earned income, right? Obviously, and as you can continue to collect more data and build more experience, right, you can increase this income here that you're building by increasing obviously your risk, right? Once you obviously you understand what you're doing, what you're looking for, and you're consistent, and right, you can increase your risk, all right? Adjust as you're winning and losing, obviously, right? But you can increase your risk, all right, to make more money, all right? And then establish a business entity, right? Through establishing a business entity, you can keep more of your income, allowing you to deduct all of these expenses, trading related expenses, home office expenses, education and training, tax preparation costs, entertainment, healthcare, restaurant meals, clothing, and vehicle costs. Okay, you're allowed to deduct all those expenses, all right, to keep more of your income, all right, and then you get to invest, right? You get to invest that leftover money. Even 25% of your salary goes straight into a tax-free retirement account that you're able to then control it because of your skill set that you have to trade, right? You're able to actually control that retirement account, and you're taxed, right, at a lower leverage, lower price point than somebody that's earning the same amount as you working for somebody else. Okay, and that is the beauty of trading, and that is why I believe it is the greatest wealth building tool of all time, because it allows you to pretty much master each step, right? Once you master the skill, right, the creating income is easy and it's simple, right, straightforward. Nothing for us to do here at this macro time frame. So we're gonna wrap up in a bit. We're here, all right, and be done for our session. You're able to increase the income, right? You're able to keep more of your income once you establish a business entity, right? You're able to increase, you keep more of your income so you have more money left over to invest, okay? And that is the beauty of trading, all right? That is the beauty of this industry that we're in. That is the beauty, that is the goal here for me, all right? That's what I'm building, okay? For me, obviously, I'm going in the direction of a hedge fund, okay? But it's still a business entity that is going to employ me under that hedge fund, okay? Still the same concept, all right? But it doesn't have to be a hedge fund for you if you're not like, you don't want to, scale to a hedge fund. 11 in terms of trading other people's money, okay? Not everybody's built to do that. For me, I think that's something I'm built to do. Once I'm learning to do that anyway. Actually, I'm building the skill set and the knowledge to be able to get to that point where I feel like I got this enough that I can actually trade other people's money, because I'm doing this. I've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Really, nothing changes. All right, it's just where the money's coming from that change, really and truly. But what I'm doing here doesn't change. Um, wouldn't have given us negative 2.5 here, but negative 2 would have been smashed, and obviously stop would be reduced to zero point 0.5 here. We'll see what else this trade has to offer us, okay? But for us here, the Trader Capital, that's it for us this morning, okay? Let's do a trade performance review and wrap things up here. What I did well today, all right, is that I showed up, all right? I got 1% better, gained experience, learned lessons that I'll take into my next trading day, next trading session. All right, showed up today, and the trader did her job. She let the analyst lead, all right, and the trader followed what the analyst was saying, and the outcome was out of my hands. Right, I showed up today, I did my job, I followed my procedures, I followed my processes and my protocols, and didn't deviate from it. All right, didn't ask more of the market than that my processes and model expects me to ask out of the market. Right, I'm pretty happy with taking 2 off a negative 1, and then the remainder doing the thing. I like this so much better now where I'm at currently. Okay, so I'm happy to excited to walk forward and see how I can better manage my emotions with what I have going on. But I think that was it already has been a game changer for me, so I'm happy about that. Where I fell short today, even though I got my morning routine in, all right, I still didn't wake up by a decent hour. All right, I wanted to wake up a little bit earlier than I did. All right, but I did manage to get my morning routine in, so it would just be wake up time for me today. In terms of chart wise, showed up, followed my processes, followed my procedures and protocols, didn't deviate from it, so don't think I fell short anywhere in chart wise. How I can improve for next day, next trading session is just keep showing up, right? Keep seeking excellence in everything that I do. Don't let short-term adversity, losses, series of losses deter me, distract me from what I got going on, right? Keep analyzing the data, keep analyzing the data, keep back testing, okay? And keep extracting the relative information that we need, all right, to improve on what we got going on here, right? Only allowing data to allow me to refine what I got going on, and not based on my feelings or how I'm feeling, right? Only on data is how I refine, okay? Also, keep taking small steps in the right direction. All right, eventually we'll get to our destination. It's just about keep showing up, right? Keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up, right? That's all it's all about. Show up, show up, show up, show up, show up for yourself, show up for your family, show up for your community, show up for your nation, show up for the world, all right? And pretty much, yeah. Solid day for us here. I'm the trade. Solid session for us here. I'm the trader capital. All right. Let's go ahead and do a trade breakdown, and then we can get out of here. All right. So we came in, identified our dealing range. All right. Obviously, our daily dealing range didn't get taken. All right. But our session dealing range, which is open range dealing range. All right. We took sell side. All right. Confirming our bias as a sell program. Okay. So we established our condition. Right. Step two. Stage, what type of setup are we going to get? We're going to get a retracement setup, or we're going to get a continuation setup, right? The price action offered us a continuation setup. It was a V-shaped setup, okay? V-shaped setup, but so obviously support and time frame gave us a regular retracement setup. Because for retracement, I do want to see a short-term liquidity rate below the external liquidity or above the external liquidity where there's a high or low, but in this case is a low, so I want to see a short-term low get taken. I would have preferred this to be a 1 minute short-term low that gets taken, okay, but nothing wrong with the 15 seconds as well, because we have time and then we have price, okay. So 15 seconds time obviously confirmed a retracement setup, which was also confirmed with the V shape looking like straight it hit the external liquidity, all right, and straight away we have a swing displacement market structure shift right back above that, okay, and even created an inefficiency that price respected as well, okay. So these are allowed, right? V-shape setups are allowed, right? As long as there's a displacement to the upside that causes that market structure shift, and there's no diddy-daddly in the price action here, which we didn't get. Obviously, if we were taking out this, right, it would have confirmed a continuation setup, and then we would have just obviously paid for premium insight, and we would have been on the continuation sell, and nothing would have changed, right? But anyway, then we got a confirmed retracement setup, and right, we engaged in it, gave us 2 contracts, and based on what we adjusted in our procedures and protocols in our model, all right, or in our trade management anyway, I should say, right, 2 obviously comes off at the whole numbers, all right, and we'll take 1 off at the 0.5s, right. Obviously we start partially at -1, so 2 would come off. It gave us 2 contracts, so we were out of the trade there, right. Even if I didn't take whatever off, it still would have given this whatever it needed to give us after, right. And we're still watching this trade, right. We're still watching this trade, targeting open range buy side, right. Once we take this buy side, obviously that will flip our bias, right. It would have been once dealing range, one side of the dealing range is taken, right. Price can only do 2 things. It can retrace to continue in the direction of where it took, in the direction of the sell side, right, for this example, or it can retrace to reverse, right, meaning it's going to take the other side and flip the bias. So once we take buy side here, right, our bias for the session, right, will flip from sells to buys, okay, and then we'll be looking to be a buyer of that market. But anyway, that was our setup for today, trade breakdown. It was a retracement setup, all right, retracement turn reversal potentially we're looking here, because we're about to take buy side right now, -2.5 getting smashed there. And that will be it from us here. I'm the Trader Capital. Solid morning, solid NFP Monday morning, money and mindset Monday, all right. NFP Monday morning, destroyed, conquered, smashed, or navigated like a pro, all right. Didn't deviate from anything, and there you go. Open range, dealing range, buy side getting taken, all right. So we had a retracement, retrace to reverse scenario happened here, okay. That means now going into lunch session, we're going into it with a buy program, okay, looking to be a buyer of this market, right. Above price, we have 20-day high, previous day's high, previous week's high, and above that, okay, we have dealing range high, which is also London session high, and above that we have relative equal highs here, Asia session buy side. Okay, so depending on how price behaves here, okay, will let me know whether it wants to continue higher or it wants to come back down and snag these relative equal lows that we left open here. But other than that, yeah, solid morning for us here. I'm the Trader Capital. Let's wrap this bitch up in a bow. Before we wrap with this, there was a time that I would finish a trading session and still feel lost. Even on days I made money, I didn't really know why it worked. And on losing days, I had no system to fall back on. That's the difference between guessing and having a real edge. And here's the truth. Most traders only focus on entries, but consistency comes from the system behind the entry. So if you've been watching and thinking this makes sense, but I don't have the full system yet, that's exactly why I created the 10% to 1% club. That's where we go deeper into all three pillars: the full model, the risk management system, the money and mindset principles needed to join the 1% club, and the exact process to follow daily. If you're serious about becoming consistent, that is your next step. I used to think the goal was to win more trades, but the real goal is to become the type of trader who can perform no matter the outcome. Because once you have that, the results will follow. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next AM session, kicking off at 9:15 a.m. Kickoff once again at 9:15 a.m. To be on time is to be late, okay? So make sure you show up early. As always, I'm the trader here, signing out. Good luck, good trading. Happy bloody hunting. Remember, you only fail when you quit.